Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert's Porch Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, New Japan Pro Wrestling presents Wrestle Kingdom 18 in the Tokyo Dome, the annual January 4th show. What an amazing show, what an amazing experience it is to get up at 1:30 in the morning to watch wrestling and some of the great matches of 2024. Some of these matches definitely delivered. I think one of them really over-delivered for me. Now, a couple of them I was expecting more out of, but you know what? They were good. If you watched my preview, I was 8-2 from straight up picks. So, there's only two matches I didn't get, and one of them, after the match, I realized, I picked it based on what I personally wanted and what I thought would be really cool, because one of my favorite wrestlers. So, if I would have actually used my head on it, I probably wouldn't have picked him. Probably would have been 9-1. But you know what? Still, it's great. I love it. Alright, so first match was the pre-show match. We had the New Japan Pro Wrestling Pro Wrestling title, the right to challenge. So it was a New Japan Rambo. So what this title is, you're actually just a provisional champion throughout the year. And once the year is over, you're actually the champion. But it starts over the next year. So the 2023 champion was Taichi. So we have a New Japan Rambo to decide. The final four will decide who wrestles at New Year's Dash for the title. Those final four are Great Khan, Toru, Yano, and Taiji Ishimori. So one of those four will be the provisional the King of Pro Wrestling champion. They'll be able to set the stipulations or whatever for the matches. So we can have death matches, we can have all kinds of things, who knows. But so we'll definitely wait and see what happens with that tomorrow at New Year's Dash. The main show started off with the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Titles on the line. Champions, the Bullet Club War Dogs, Clark Connors, Drilla, Moloney, going up against Catch 22, part of United Empire, Francesco, Akira, and TJP. This match was it was flat to me, to be honest with you. The best way to describe it. Yeah, I mean, it was a good back and forth match, but Clark Connors is just freaking a beast nowadays. Watching him grow from one of the young lions to this, I mean, pretty much straightforward. The Catch-22 seemed like they were on the defensive more than they were on offensive. They ended up pulling it out at the end. So Catch-22 got the victory there. I give it 3 1/4. Next up, we had the New Japan Pro Wrestling Television Championship on the line. Champion Zack Sabre Jr. versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. Zack Sabre actually won the title 1 year ago, 364 days ago at Wrestle Kingdom 17. He's been able to keep the title all this time because the TV title has a 15-minute time limit, and he's either submitted or made people, count out and all that stuff, or time limit draws. He's had several of those because they couldn't beat him in 15 minutes. But you know what? The one half of the six-man champions, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and the new vice president of New Japan Pro Wrestling, he had what it took to. But Zack Sabre is one of the best, if not the best, mat-based wrestler. But Tanahashi, his veteran instinct kicked in. He was able to take it to Sabre. He was able to win the TV championship. I give it 3 1/2 star. Hiroshi Tanahashi. I don't know how many more Wrestle Kingdoms he has left, but he is a double champion now. So, 47 years old. His, time of being the main eventer is over, I think. I don't think we'll see him in the main event Wrestle Kingdom. I think they're going to leave it to the young guys, but I think this showing for him showed you he still got it. Next up, we had 2 of the young lions going at it. Yota Tsuji and Yuya Uemura. Yuya Uemura just getting back from excursion over here in the United States with Impact Wrestling. Uemura these two were in the same training class, but Uemura's always kind of been a second fiddle to Yota. but not here. They have a great back and forth match. Yoda actually took it to him. 3.5-star match for these two. And now, Yujiro came in 10-15 versus Yoda. Now he's 11-15. Yujiro getting a victory there. Next up, we had a tag team match. We had the House of Torture, Evil and Ren Narita going up against Kota Kanemaru and Shota Umino. Kanemaru is coming from Pro Wrestling Noah. I love the fact that we have this forbidden door that's been opened not only from New Japan to TNA, New Japan to AEW, New Japan to Pro Wrestling Noah. So we were able to see some of these other stars. We had several Pro Wrestling Noah stars in the New Japan Rambo, and being able to see these stars grow back and forth. We have the Japanese badass is what they use for Shota Umino. He rides in on his motorcycle and it literally just goes straight to the ring on his motorcycle. And they actually literally called him I can remember calling him the Japanese badass, like badass taker. I'm like, that's awesome. But yeah, this match, the House of Torture, they are violent, to say the least. The fact that Ren Narita joined them. House of Torture is a subsidiary of the Bullet Club. But yeah, this match was pretty good, I guess. I mean, it was one of those matches where it's like, this is cool. Yeah, is it over yet? I ended up giving it 3-star. House of Truth getting the victory there. That's the one of the two I missed. Next up, we had the Never Overweight title on the line. We had champion Shingo Takagi versus Tama Tonga. Tama Tonga, part of Girls of Destiny, the son of Haku. Now, he announced that he's only going to be in Japan for another 30 days. So I thought him having a title match, even though he's a 2-time Never Openweight champion, it's like, okay, what are they doing here? I know Ospreay's in the match, and obviously he's announced he's leaving for AEW, but they have a really great relationship with AEW. We don't know where Tama Tonga's going. I have a feeling I know where Tama Tonga's going. If that's the case, I think his brother needs to go with him, both of them. Take the Girls of Destiny over to Stamford, Connecticut, but I think that would make sense. Have their dad come out with them, feud them with the Bloodline. Instant feud there, if that's the case. I don't know. Maybe he's going to get out of pro wrestling. Who knows? But he was pulling out all the stops. I mean, he pulled out the Styles Clash. He pulled out the gun stun. So he's taken off some of these guys he's wrestled, the AJ Styles of the world, the Carl Andersons, hitting their finish. As a matter of fact, he beat Carl Anderson 1 year ago at Wrestle Kingdom 17 for this title. All this Shingo's kicking out. Shingo is just, he's so underrated on how good he is. When he's in the ring with somebody that's as good or better than him, he can put on a 5-star match. I think Tama Tonga is underrated as well. He's way talented. But after hitting multiple gun stuns, Styles Clashes, he was able to get the victory. I ended up giving it 3 3/4. Tama Tonga, your new openweight champion. So now, him leaving next month, what does that mean? Does he drop the title? Is he going to AEW maybe where he can do both? Who knows? But I know it was announced he was leaving New Japan, so we'll see what happens there. And then we had 2 honorary stars walk in, have a seat at ringside. 2 brothers, Nick and Ryan Nemeth. For those of you who don't know who Nick Nemeth is, Dolph Ziggler appeared in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Thought that was interesting. We had a little Dolph, him and his brother sitting there ringside watching. Next match was the IWGP tag titles and the New Japan Strong Openweight tag titles on the line. Are the Nemeth brothers going to go for the tag titles? Oh, that's not who we had a confrontation with. Who we had the confrontation with is very interesting. That's more to come. Alright, so we had the IWGP champions, Bishamon, Hiroki Goto, and Yoshihashi going up against the Girls of Destiny members, Elephant Hasmo and Hikulea. Guerrillas of Destiny are the New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Title champions. This match was just a hard-hitting, just power versus power with Goto and Hikuleo. And then you had El Phantasmo and Yoshihashi, kind of the scrappers of the bunch, best way to describe it. What's interesting is Guerrillas of Destiny were part of Bullet Club, but they actually separated themselves from Bullet Club. Normally this match is the winner of the Tag League, World Tag League, goes against the champions. But Bishamon, who were the champions, have won the Tag League 3 years in a row. So they got to pick their opponent for this, and they picked the Guerrillas of Destiny, which was a mistake because the Guerrillas of Destiny took it to them, and the Guerrillas of Destiny now are double champions. They have the IWGP Tag Titles and the New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Titles. So you have El Phantasmo and Hikuleo as dual champions. I give that match 3.5. Next up, we had the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title on the line. We have champion Hiromu Takahashi going up against El Desperado. Now, El Desperado hasn't really gotten his flowers, so to speak. And so this match was a lot about that. And this match was a lot about him being unmasked earlier last year, and still wearing the mask now, but kind of that loner kind of, I'm here to go out there and win. Former IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. What was weird about it was Hiromu came in with this weird looking getup, had like eyeballs all around it and stuff, and like tentacles going out. It's like, this is the weirdest entrance attire I've ever seen. He comes into the ring, he's standing on the outside. Before he could even take this off, you had El Desperado freaking diving around the top rope, tagging on top of him. You had really, you had a lot of more offense than normal from El Desperado, in my opinion. 14 minutes later, we have two-time. I think it's two-time, maybe it's three-time. Let me double check on that. I can't remember if it's two-time or three-time IWGP champion. Three-time IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion El Desperado, which he's one of my favorites in New Japan, so definitely love that. Still, Dolph Ziggler sitting in ringside. Next up, with the IWGP Global Championship on the line. This is the new title. They retired the US/UK title and brought out the global title. If you look at this global title, it reminds me of a lot of the old IWGP Intercontinental title. I get because New Japan Pro Wrestling is trying to be more global, and this title, my guess, will be defended in AEW, it'll be defended in Rev Pro, it'll be defended on different parts of the world, so they wanted more of a global title. I would have kept the lineage of the Intercontinental title and just renamed it Global title, but that's just me. I like old lineages and titles that go back to history and stuff, which they didn't do that with the world title either, so that's a WWE thing as well. You know, they don't keep a lot of the lineage of these titles. It's cool to look back and say, so and so's held this title 5 times, but they held it first in this year, so. But anyway, we had the IWGP Global title triple threat match. David Finlay, Jon Moxley, Will Ospreay. It was announced at the press conference yesterday that Will Ospreay and Mox were going to work together. We know the history these two have had, and it's not been great history. So they talked about working together, and they started it. The three of them were standing in the ring, and David Finlay went to get out of the ring, and Mox and Will Ospreay looked at one another and went, all right. And they literally was 2-on-1 for a little while, 2-on-1 beatdown for a while. They ended up putting David Finlay through a freaking table. What was weird about it is Mox ended up bleeding, which, it's Mox. He bleeds. You can look at him, he'll bleed. But it's like he did a dive to the outside. I'm like, where did he even hit his head to get cut open? It's like, there's times where on AEW, blood's cool. I have no issue with blood. To me, it's more it brings in the realistic aspect of pro wrestling, because there are times when you fight, you're going to bleed. Makes sense. This didn't make a lot of sense, him getting cut open there. So I'm like, what in the world? But they ended up, David Finlay, they started throwing chairs in the ring. Matter of fact, Mox chucked the chair in the ring and hit Ospreay with it. And then David Finlay set up the two metal chairs back to back. So they're sitting there and the backs are together. And he slammed Mox right on that. I'm like, damn, Mox took a hell of a spot there. What was weird about this is part of Bullet Club, because we know David Finlay is the leader of Bullet Club. War Dogs came out to attack Mox and Ospreay. War Dogs are Clark Connors and Drilla Moloney. Well, they ended up taking it to him. They ended up setting up two tables on the outside. One with one War Dog, one with the other War Dog. And Ospreay did a swanton off the top rope through the tables. And these Japan tables aren't like American tables. They don't break that easy. Well, except the middle portion of it. So picture, I think it was Alex Coughlin laying on the table. It's the table right here. When Mox hit him, the center of the table broke. So he's literally like this in the table. So his butt down and his feet are up and his head's on the table and his butt is in the middle. They didn't show him getting out of this position, but I'm like, there's no way he did that on his own. Somebody had to help him. I was just watching Will Ospreay do that swanton. I'm like, that's freaking awesome. David Finlay ended up getting the straight up pin on Will Ospreay, which was actually kind of surprising for me that Ospreay ate the pin here. But I guess Mox, since he's technically not New Japan talent, he does New Japan stuff though, but I don't know, it was kind of weird to me that they let Ospreay beat the pin, but hey, you know what? It was a good match. I ended up giving it 4.25. Then afterwards, we had David Finlay walk over by where Mr. Nick Nemeth was sitting. Dolph Ziggler, for y'all don't realize. So sitting over by where Dolph was sitting, there's a little back and forth. Dolph stands up, and we have a push. We kind of pushed him, and he pushed him back, and then they started fighting. So I'm assuming the IWGP Global Heavyweight title will be defended sometime soon. My guess is Battle in the Valley, I think January 15th, on Thriller TV. My guess is it's going to be David Finlay versus Nick Nemeth for the global title. That's my guess. I don't know, but it's just what I'm, based on that little interaction, that's what I'm guessing. Which, hey, I'm all in. If Dolph wants to go do New Japan, Dolph wants to go do freaking Pro Wrestling Noah, AEW, all this, go ahead. The Forbidden Door is open for him. So go do it all. Next up, we had the second match in the trilogy, I guess you would call it, of Suzuki Okada and Bryan Danielson. We know what happened at Forbidden Door last year. We had Danielson on U.S. soil beat Okada, but Okada broke Danielson's arm. Heard it broke his eye socket bone, whatever. So we've had that storyline go on. So in this match, you had Okada, very, very weird for Okada being on the defensive more than anything. He's able to hit, because, I mean, Danielson went after his arm. Danielson said, I'm going to break your fucking arm. And so it was like that heel Danielson because of the BCC. And it's like, holy crap, this is kind of different for Okada being on the defensive so much. And just consistent offense of Bryan Danielson. And then Okada, he hit the Rainmaker at one point, couldn't even go for a pin. He had a couple of his big moves. He did the tombstone on the ring, on the apron. And it's like, he did his, I mean, he's got the just smoothest dropkick you've ever seen. Okada's one of the best in the world ever. But having these two go at it, it's like the best of the United States versus the best of New Japan. And this match just, it only lasted 23 minutes. I thought it was longer than that because it was so good. You could just sit there and just like, okay, I'm going to watch it. But Okada was able to pull out another Rainmaker at the end and get the pinfall on Bryan Danielson. and then the ultimate show of respect, wrestling in Japan, where you get on the mat on your knees and you do the bow, and they did it to each other and shook hands. Okada's arm was definitely, you see him kind of favoring his right arm, but Okada beating Bryan Danielson at the Tokyo Dome. This was Bryan Danielson's first Wrestle Kingdom. I didn't even realize that. So yeah, 4.5 star. You know what? 4 3/4 star. That was a damn good match. I loved every minute of that match. So yeah, I actually rewatched it. So these last 2 matches were so good I had to rewatch them. Just to make sure I didn't miss something, just to enjoy them, you know. The fact that the series is tied up 1-1. Even Rocky Romero said this. We need the finale. We need the final match in these two. We need to finish the trilogy. Rocky said Wrestle Kingdom 19. I'm thinking Forbidden Door. Now, we'll throw an idea out there. This is what I think should happen. I think this would be damn cool as hell. We have the American Triple Crown, which is the AEW Continental title, the New Japan Strong title, and the Ring of Honor title. So Eddie Kingston, the American Triple Crown. Why not? And Eddie Kingston beat all 3 members of the BCC to get to those titles. He beat Danielson. Let's finish that story. Oh, not even finish that story. Let's do that story. Eddie Kingston, Bryan Danielson for all 3 titles. Had Danielson win. At Forbidden Door in June, let's do Danielson Okada for the American Triple Crown. Okada don't gotta win. It'd be cool if he did. But I think that would be, because this match, you had the one at Forbidden Door last year, you had this one. You need to elevate. If you're gonna do this match, you need the rubber match. You need to elevate it. It needs to be something more than just a singles match. If you want to do another singles match, that is fine. Make it a submission match, or make it 2 out of 3 falls. Make it 2 out of 3 falls, and let it be what Okada Omega 2 out of 3 falls was. That 60-minute. Basically, it was an Iron Man 2 out of 3 falls, but it wasn't an Iron Man. It was 2 out of 3 falls, and it lasted like 60 minutes. Do that with these two. Either because we know Danielson can do it because he did it with MJF. I know Okada can do it. Either put the American Triple Crown on it, or make it a 2 out of 3 falls at Forbidden Door. Tony Khan, make that happen. Hiroshi Tanahashi, make that happen. But Okada getting in the victory back there, and Bryan Danielson, now that little battle is tied up at 1. Okada won in the U.S., and Okada won in Japan. Danielson won in the U.S. Where is Forbidden Door at this year? Is it somewhere not in the U.S.? I don't even know. If they've announced the location for it. Announce the location, put it in frickin' England or something. I think that would be freaking just... Yeah, they haven't even announced it yet. I know we got I'll put All In London. Do it All In then. That's August. Why not? Put titles on it, do it All In. That actually makes more sense than Forbidden Door. Because, well, last year Forbidden Door was in Toronto. And the year before it was in Chicago. So, I mean, you could do it in Canada, or you could do All In London. That would be Okada, Danielson 3 for the American Triple Crown in London at Wembley. Yep, there you go. And then you do Ospreay, MJF, or Ospreay, Cole for the title, for the AEW title. Tony Khan, it books itself. Alright, then the main event, the IWGP World Heavyweight Title Line champion, Sonata, going against Tetsuya Naito. There's a lot of talk of, and I love how everyone says the guy in America, Cody Rhodes finishing his story at WWE. Naito needs to finish his story as well. Naito has never left Wrestle Kingdom with the title. He's won at Wrestle Kingdom. He's won tag titles. He's won the IC title at Wrestle Kingdom. He's lost matches involving the world title. He's lost the world title, but he's never main evented and won the world title at Wrestle Kingdom. Naito is getting up there in age. This may be his last Wrestle Kingdom. He's 41. He may be his last hurrah for the main event kind of guy. I mean, we got the Okadas, we got the Evils, we got the Sonata, we got David Finlay. We got the younger generation coming up. But the Naito's, is it going to be his last Wrestle Kingdom main event? We don't know. But you know what? He wanted to finish his story. I think him beating somebody like a Sonata would do that. And I didn't even think about it in my preview about his story, and they were talking about Rocky was talking about it. I'm like, oh snap, I didn't realize that. And I've seen some stuff online about it. So, but yeah, this match was seeing Sonata from what he was when he was a tag with Evil, and watching him progress, and then watching him get the title back in April, and just run with the world title and kind of building himself as that main event guy has been really neat. But Naito is just, you notice a change in him as well. Like, he's more like, hey, you know, more humble. It was more, he would drag the IC title around all the time. People hated that. But he got a reaction. And that's the thing, though. Sonata doesn't quite get the reaction as an Okada, as a Naito, as an Evil. So having Naito go out there and beat Sonata in a back and forth match where Naito was on the defensive more than he was on the offensive, actually I think got Naito to finish his story. He was able, after 25 minutes of hard fight battle with Sonata, was able to leave Wrestle Kingdom as the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. I give it 4 1/4. I think his first challenger is going to be Evil, because Evil and House of Torture came out and attacked him. Sonata ran in for the save. So you were able to get the respect of Sonata for Naito. Naito was able to finish his story, but now we're going to set off on this next story. Where does it go? Who takes the title from Naito? Is it Evil? Is it Sonata? Is it, does somebody step up? Is it Okada? It's got to get back. But Naito coming off and winning the G1, getting here, winning the title. Because his last title reign was like a tag title. So that's just like, whoa, He hasn't held the titles in a while, so he's finally a world champion, leaving Wrestle Kingdom. I give it 4 1/4. So the best match of the day was the Danielson Okada, which we all kind of knew it was. I ended up giving it 4 3/4. There's probably going to be people rating it 4 or 4.5. That's the great thing about pro wrestling. It's 90% opinion, 10% fact. My opinion is that was so far match of the year, 4 3/4. I give the global title, Finlay, Mox, Ospreay 4 1/4. Having the War Dogs come out kind of took it away from me a little bit. I'd say about a 1/4 star off of that one. And then the world title, I give it 4 1/4. Everything else was solid, just like Wrestle Kingdom always is. But that is the review of Wrestle Kingdom 18. Now, there is a purpose behind the Briscoe shirt. This is the first Wrestle Kingdom after the passing of Jay Briscoe. We know last year he passed away after Wrestle Kingdom. He wrestled at Wrestle Kingdom. He was former IWGP Tag Team Champion. I just kind of wanted to almost honor him a little bit, and I'm going to do that again on the anniversary of his passing. I'm going to do the best tag team matches of 2023. It's going to be the 28 best matches, represent the 28 tag titles him and his brother won. So definitely looking forward to that. But Wrestle Kingdom 18, awesome show. Definitely, if you haven't watched it, I recommend watching it. One of the better ones. As always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. And don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader, sports channel content.